Before I understood the word college, my parents told me I was going. How many of you have had that same memory? How many of your parents told you the only thing in life that can never be taken away from you is your education? And how often have you heard that education is the key to success? I'm Jim Sermons, formerly an Executive Vice President of CBS and a 1937 graduate of St. Petersburg Junior College. Two achievements of which I am equally proud. I was very fortunate to have a long and successful career in the radio and television fields, and I give much of the credit for that to St. Petersburg College and to an exceptional professor who introduced me to radio. She gave me confidence and taught me to believe in myself. Her name was Augusta B. Center. I probably owe my career to her. Founded in 1927, St. Petersburg College has since grown and transitioned into a four-year institution with 63,000 students and more than 300 programs leading both to associate and baccalaureate degrees. Located on 10 learning sites throughout Pinellas County, SPC offers degrees in everything from banking and education to nursing and veterinary technology. Degrees that meet the high demand of today's technology-driven marketplace, especially in our local community. Approximately 85% of the degree-seeking students at SPC have full or part-time jobs to help offset the cost of education, expenses like tuition, books, equipment, and lab fees. They often attend school while working and caring for families. More than not, they need financial assistance. Philanthropy takes many forms, but whether it's giving of one's time, talent, or treasure, it's always giving from the heart. The Lepa Ratner Museum of Art in Tarpon Springs is home to the fine works of artist Abraham Ratner, a $20 million gift made possible by the generosity of Alan and Isabel Lepa. Let's take a look.
It rises to the sky from a reflection of its own image in shimmering water. From a distance, it gives the appearance of a high-masted sailing ship. With concrete walls, 52 feet high and 2 stories of building reaching beyond its foundation, it's a work of art unto itself. This is the Lepa Ratner Museum of Art, the result of a $20 million gift of Alan and Isabel Lepa, located on the St. Petersburg College, Tarpon Springs campus. The museum's namesake is Abraham Ratner, Lepa's stepfather, who was an internationally acclaimed American painter, especially noted during the 1950s and 60s. Ratner called most North American museums morgue and tomb-like. He dreamed of a museum offering freshness and exhilaration, to bring in the sunlight, the sky, life and movement. In his words, to feel the freedom of the outdoors. The Lepas chose Tarpon Springs for the museum location because it reminded them of the Long Island Art District of Sag Harbor, where Ratner created much of his work from a small studio. This meshed with a pioneering spirit and strong arts program at St. Petersburg College.
Their dream had always been that the works of Abraham Ratner would be displayed all at one place, so a retrospective could be seen of his work. Although many universities and colleges and museums had wanted these pieces, Dr. Lepa was concerned that they would be torn off and there would just be bits and parts and everything would mainly be in storage. And it was their great hope that people could see the beginning of the life of a great artist and following through how his response to life in war, in peace, in prosperity, in hard times, what that person's response to life is about. as a great artist.
At the Lepa Ratner Museum, young artists, perhaps one day to become famous in their own right, are able to experience the creative process. It often leaves a lasting impression.
The interrelationship of the museum with the college provides wonderful educational service to the college community, as well as providing a lot of resources that private nonprofit museums find difficult to have.
There's even a three-dimensional work of art that visitors can fully experience, actually walking into and out of a painting from the artist's perspective.
This is a marvelous place. It's a place where imagination has come forth. It's a place where everywhere you look, you have to admire what has been done. People come out of here and they want to come back. They want to see the work again and again and again.
Generosity is seen at the hand of every artist, I think, because they are giving of themselves. And so it, I think, fell well into place. That call from Isabel Lepa that day, so simple. We'd just like to speak with somebody about a gift, is a gift for all.
It's the gift of a painting, splashed with morning light, a finely crafted sculpture, the rainbow of colors in stained glass. It's an award-winning museum of art and of life.
Art is a passion that comes into play for many of our donors. The Lepas are just one example of how a donation can have a far-reaching effect on the entire community. Our next story focuses on the birth of some very talented twin sisters, twin Steinway concert grand pianos, a gift made possible by the friends and students of St. Petersburg College.
It's a gift of music, instruments of sound, resonating a melody of life. These are concert grand pianos, Steinways, purchased in the year 2000 through generous gifts donated by friends and students of St. Petersburg College. Today, these beautiful instruments are the centerpiece of a $2.2 million acoustically perfect music hall. It's the sole performing arts venue in the Bay Area with 2 concert grands. Steinway is a company where perfection and old-world craftsmanship take on real meaning. Musicians from the college recently traveled to New York to carefully select from the finest pianos. The instruments were built from a factory yard where $2.5 million worth of stacked lumber were cured for months at a time. It's a place where only 12 pianos are finished for the world each day. With each Steinway produced, different woods are layered into a finished piece. It's wood that is planed and veneered. Birch, mahogany, and walnut are demoisturized and measured, then carefully tested. The quality of sound is the result of precise shaping of spruce soundboards, in finding the correct hardness in maple rims, and in the precise angling of interior wood edges. In the end, the keyboards determine success of the craftsman's work in the magical sounds of a melody written hundreds of years ago.
Our faculty and our students deserve the best. We can't always afford the best, but Steinway was definitely a target when it came to pianos. Our pianos were 30, 33 years old on average, and it was time to replace them. And surveying the piano landscape, there was really no reasonable choice other than Steinway if you want quality.
Located at the St. Petersburg Gibbs campus, the Steinways were part of a remodeling project that would bring dramatic changes to one of the school's original buildings, a 1941 structure built by the WPA. Today, It continues as the George Lynch Auditorium in the Music Center, a facility used for the college's humanities and fine arts programs. Through private donations, the college also recently commissioned the building of a Heisler pipe organ. This, a 3,000-piece instrument that had to be disassembled and then shipped by boat from Germany, a month-long excursion. It was then meticulously reconstructed over many months. Today, it stands 22 feet wide. Its towers rise 18 feet into the air. The renowned concert organist John Obitz called it the finest such instrument on Florida's west coast. There are less than 30 Heisler pipe organs in the entire country.
I love to play the organ, I love to hear the organ, and I think that this is going to be a great boon, not only to the college, but also to the community.
Together, they are instruments that create the melodies of life, of rhythm in time, the craftsmanship of hundreds and thousands of hours, brings sweet music to the ear.
Without gifts, the important part of education in the arts cannot be managed without extra help, extraordinary help.
I mentioned that philanthropy takes many forms and emanates from many caring individuals, including the St. Petersburg College staff. Instructors teach their students about particular subjects. More often than not, they also help students with many of life's lessons. Ultimately, the story you're about to see is about commitment, friendship, and love.
His mother, Judy, related to me that when the contingent from the Army drove up into the driveway, that she knew immediately what had happened. There was a brief firefight, and evasive action was taken in the mountains, high in the frozen mountains of Afghanistan. And in that evasion of escaping the firefight, of getting out of the line of fire, a Navy SEAL was lost from a helicopter. And it wasn't discovered in the confusion of battle until after they had returned to base. And as I understand at that point, the Army was rounding up, and the Special Services was rounding up volunteers to go back to retrieve their fallen comrade. And Mark and several others volunteered to do so and went back.
Some would call it the price of war. In memory of his lifelong friend, Chapman, a St. Petersburg College math instructor, with the help of his friend's family, established the Mark Anderson Fallen Soldier Memorial Scholarship. In its first year, a young artist would step forward to build a unique piece of work. It was inspired art. This from a former Army veteran and fine art student of the college. Titled Half Light, it was a larger-than-life sculpture depicting an Army Ranger on night patrol. The artist was Jeff DaCosta, a Largo resident who became the first recipient of the scholarship.
The half-light sculpture is extremely impressive. It's extremely impressive. My first impressions when I saw it, I could not believe that a student of ours had created this. It appeared to me as though it was a piece of work created by a master sculptor.
The sculpture itself is 7 feet high and weighs more than 200 pounds. The off-balance, dark and grim figure creates an all-too-real vision of Anderson's fate on that night of March 4th in a distant land. too many miles from a home to which he would never return. But this is not only the story of a soldier, but one of an energetic young man who loved to teach. His students have spoken of a person who was a hero long before his journey into the Afghan mountains.
Words that are used to describe Mark were, in addition to being, very intelligent and very athletic, and very quick-minded, was virtue. He was eager to help. It's one of the reasons he loved teaching so much, because he loved to help people.
In the end, Anderson would give of himself even in death, leaving his life insurance to a student in need. This to pay for an education.
I think if Mark were here today, to see all of the attention that's being given to this, to the fact that he's, and his fellow soldiers who died with him that night have been called heroes, that he would probably ask, what's all the big deal? Why is it such an important thing? We were just doing our job. We were doing our duty. We were living our lives and dying our deaths in the way that we believed in the way that supported one another and that helped one another out. And that's what we're supposed to do.
For Chapman, the pain, the sorrow, and the loss of life will never fade. But the memory of better times, of a friend who fought for a cause, will live on.
The code and the creed of the Special Forces is no man is left behind. And that was part of the creed that Mark believed in and that he lived by, and that he paid the ultimate debt, that he paid the ultimate price for.
I think you'll agree that was a story that touched the heart from people whose hearts were touched by the vision of education and the passion to make it happen. Someone once said, first you learn, then you earn, then you return. You can help make a difference in your community by helping support college scholarships for deserving students, educational programs and learning facilities through the St. Petersburg College Foundation.